Introduction: the invisible sentence that shapes your life. Before you were anything, before you had a name, a story, a past, or a plan, you are, and everything you've ever believed about yourself. Every win, every wound, every whispered fear has been built on a sentence so small you speak it without thinking. I am. It's just 2 words, but it's the origin of your entire reality. Everything that follows, I am, becomes the brush that paints your world. I'm tired. I'm not enough. I'm lost. And without even knowing it, you've written chapters of your life based on declarations you didn't even mean to make. But here's the truth. You're not your thoughts. You're not your past. You're not the noise in your mind or the weight on your shoulders. You're the one who chooses what comes after I am. This is not poetry. This is power. It's your true authorship. Your ability to create identity, shift your energy, rewire your beliefs, and manifest a completely new life. And this audiobook is not just something to listen to. It's something to feel, to speak out loud, to let sink into the quiet spaces of your soul and wake up the power that has always lived inside you. Because for far too long, you've let the world define you. You've allowed circumstance to write your script. You believed that identity was something fixed, inherited, imposed, or assigned. But now you are here, and something inside you knows you're ready to reclaim the pen. Throughout this journey, you're going to explore more than affirmations. You'll go beneath the surface of words and into the energy behind them. You'll learn how the mind, the body, and even the universe respond to what you declare. You'll see how ancient spiritual principles and modern neuroscience both point to one simple truth. Your identity shapes your reality, not the other way around. Not your circumstances, not your history. What you repeatedly attach to I am becomes the filter you see the world through and eventually the life you live. So this isn't just a listening experience. It's a recalibration, a new coding of your internal world. And each chapter will take you deeper into your beliefs, your stories, your hidden programming, and ultimately into the power you have to choose again, to declare something new, to speak something true, to step into your next chapter on purpose. You'll be guided through 6 chapters, from the origins of I am as a spiritual code, to the unconscious beliefs running beneath your surface, to the science of identity, and into the daily, practical work of becoming the highest version of yourself. We'll finish with a fully guided affirmation sequence, one you can return to daily to anchor your truth and remind your mind who you really are. But before we begin, I want to ask you something. What have you been calling yourself lately? What quiet words have you let define your days? And more importantly, what are you ready to become? Because now you choose. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The Origin, I Am. There's a moment in sacred history, quiet, mysterious, powerful, where man asks God for a name. Not for a favor, not for a sign, but for an identity. Moses, standing before a burning bush that defied the laws of nature, asked, "Who shall I say sent me?" And the response wasn't a title. It wasn't a position of rank or power. It wasn't even a name in the way we understand names. The response was a vibration, a truth, a sentence older than language itself. I am that I am. 4 words, infinite meaning. It wasn't just God revealing a divine nature. It was the blueprint for all creation. In that moment, a code was passed down, not to be worshipped, but to be remembered, because this I am was not reserved for deities. It was never meant to sit on the pages of Scripture, but to live inside of you. Every time you say, I am, you are echoing that same sacred force, the same declaration of existence. You are not describing a feeling. You are activating a state, a vibration, a permission. You don't say, I am, because you feel something. You feel something because of what you've claimed as I am. Think about how often we do this without thinking. I am tired. I am broken. I'm not good at this. I'm stuck. These are not just expressions. They're not harmless venting. They are commands to the subconscious mind, directives to the body, instructions to the energetic field that surrounds and connects all things. And the universe, in its infinite intelligence, simply responds. As you say, so it shall be. From the moment you began speaking as a child, you were absorbing I am statement from the world around you. Some were gentle. You are so smart. You're special. Some were unkind, unconscious, or downright damaging. You're difficult. You're too much. You'll never be enough. And before you knew it, those voices became your own. But what if I told you that none of those identities were yours to begin with? What if you could go back, past the layers, the labels, the stories, and return to that original, sacred point of truth to simply say, I am, and choose again? You see, I am is not just a spiritual mantra. It's a creative engine. It is the beginning of identity, and identity is what determines the path you walk. You don't wait to become something. You declare it. Say, I am resilient, and your body will find the strength. Say, I am healing, and your mind will search for proof. Say, I am enough, and the layers of shame begin to dissolve. Because unlike desire, which begs, I am besides, modern science is catching up to this ancient truth. In neuroscience, there's a mechanism called the reticular activating system, RES, a filter in your brain that responds to identity. When you say, I am unlucky, your brain starts looking for ways to prove it. When you say, I am creative, it highlights evidence to match. Why? Because the brain doesn't argue with you. It just organizes your reality to align with your sense of self. It doesn't care if your I am is positive or painful. It just listens and obeys. That's why it's time to stop using your words carelessly. They are not just descriptions. They are declarations. They are spells cast into the field of infinite potential, each one shaping the world you wake up in. So let me ask you now, what have you been saying about yourself? What quiet sentences have been building your future behind the scenes? I'm always broke. I am bad with people. I'm not like them. I am too old. I am too late. You may think you're just expressing a mood, but you're actually writing a script. And the universe is producing the play, scene by scene, line by line. It's time to become intentional, to take back authorship of the most powerful phrase you speak every single day. Because once you realize the power of I am, you can no longer afford to say it in fear. You can no longer let others fill in a blank for you. You must speak it with clarity, with direction, with truth. So take a breath now. This moment is not small. This moment is not symbolic. This is the turning point where I am becomes your tool of transformation, not your trap. Repeat with me now, out loud, with presence, with permission. I am awareness. I am the beginning. I'm not my past. I am that I am. Let these words settle. Let them echo. Let them rebuild the space inside you where truth was waiting. Because from here, we go deeper. We'll explore the silent programming beneath your identity, the beliefs you never chose, the voices you didn't question, and how to shift from unconscious repetition to conscious creation. But for now, hold this truth. You are not what happened to you. You are what you choose to become. Chapter 2, The Hidden Program, Unconscious Identity. By the time you could say your name, you had already begun to forget who you really were. Before you chose your beliefs, they were chosen for you. Before you formed your identity, it was formed around you. You were born a blank field of potential, open, whole, curious. But little by little, word by word, you began to absorb a script written by other voices, and they sounded like truth. Be quiet. Don't be so emotional. You're always making things difficult. You're just not like the others. You didn't question those words. You received them, not because you were weak, but because you were wide open. Your mind was a sponge. Your nervous system was learning safety. Your heart was forming its reflection in a mirror of others. And if those mirrors were cracked, if the love came with conditions, if the approval came only after silence, performance, or perfection, then the identity you built wasn't based on who you were. It was based on who you had to be to feel accepted. And so it began. You weren't just a child. You were a builder, constructing self-worth out of reactions, constructing I am statements out of survival. I am not lovable unless I perform. I'm only safe when I hide. I am broken because they left. I am too much. I must shrink. These weren't conscious thoughts. They were felt truths, embedded deep in the subconscious, repeated through behavior, confirmed through experience. Because here's the trick of the mind. It always seeks to confirm what it already believes. And if your early identity was formed around shame, fear, or invisibility, the world you saw would reflect it, not because it was true, but because you expected it. This is what we call the unconscious I am. It lives beneath the surface of your life. It shows up in patterns you can't break, in relationships that repeat the same old pain, in the quiet voice that says, "Why bother? I already know how this ends." You've grown, you've changed, you've healed in so many ways, but the program, the script of identity, is still running in the background unless you stop to rewrite it. And that's why you're here. You cannot become something new by dragging along the same identity. You cannot create abundance while repeating, "I am not enough." You cannot call in love while holding the belief, "I am hard to love." Your energy doesn't respond to what you desire. It responds to what you believe to be true about you. And beliefs are not always loud. They often live in whispers, in hesitation, in self-sabotage, in the pause before action. They hide in the phrase, "That's just how I am." But let's pause here. Is it? Or is that just how you were taught to survive? Let's take this moment now to bring light to the hidden program. You're not here to blame. You're not here to shame the past. You're here to reclaim authorship, because your identity is not a fixed object. It's a living code. It can be rewritten when you become conscious of the unconscious. Let's practice that right now. Take a deep breath. Place your awareness on your body, your chest, your stomach, the places where emotion often hides. Now ask yourself gently, what I am have I been repeating unconsciously? Where did I learn that? Is it still true? Let the answers come. No judgment, just noticing. That's where the shift begins, with the power of witnessing. And now let's go deeper. What would it look like to speak a new truth? You don't have to feel fully confident in it yet. You just have to begin. Repeat slowly with presence. I am no longer the echo of old voices. I am allowed to change the story. I am rewriting what I believe about myself. I am safe to be seen. I am ready to remember who I really am. Let these affirmations land. They are not band-aids. They are new seeds. And when spoken with intention, they begin to take root. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are becoming. And in this becoming, the old code must dissolve. The unconscious identity may have shaped your past, but it does not define your future, because now you are aware, and with awareness comes choice. In the next chapter, we'll explore how your brain records these I am beliefs, why your thoughts shape your biology, and how science is finally catching up to what your soul has always known. But for now, hold this truth in your heart. You're not who they said you were. You are who you decide to be from this moment forward. Chapter 3, The Neurology of I Am, Rewiring Self-Perception. The mind is not a mystery. It is a machine, a beautiful, adaptable, deeply powerful machine, programmed not just by knowledge, but by repetition. By the time you reach adulthood, your brain has already become a library of associations, some built from facts, but most built from feelings, from repeated experiences, emotional moments, and unconscious self-talk. And the most powerful lines in this internal library, the ones that start with I am, because your brain isn't just listening, it's wiring. When you say, I am a failure enough times, your brain doesn't ask if it's true. It simply accepts the statement as fact and begins to build neural pathways that support it. Over time, this belief becomes a default, not because it's real, but because it's familiar. You think it, you feel it, you live it, and eventually you become it. But here's the breakthrough. The brain is not static. It's plastic. It can change at any age, in any condition, under any story. This is what neuroscience calls neuroplasticity. Your brain's ability to rewire itself through new thoughts, new patterns, and new identity. Let's break it down. Each time you repeat a thought like, I'm not good enough, you activate a set of neurons. And the more often you repeat that thought, the stronger that neural pathway becomes. Just like a trail in the forest that deepens with every step. This is what makes certain I am beliefs feel automatic. They're not truth. They're habits of the mind. But the moment you introduce a new declaration, even if it feels unfamiliar, you begin to cut a new path. Say it once, and it feels strange. Say it again, and it feels possible. Say it every day with presence and emotion. And soon enough, it feels real. That is rewiring. That is reclaiming. That is self-directed neuroplasticity in action. Let's use an example. A man has always said to himself, I am bad at relationships. This belief began in childhood, maybe from witnessing unstable love or experiencing rejection early in life. Over the years, he kept repeating this phrase silently, and his brain went to work. It started noticing behaviors, partners, and situations that confirmed that belief. And anytime something went wrong, it whispered, see, I told you, I am bad at this. But then, one day, he gets tired of the story. He decides to interrupt it. He doesn't need a new partner. He needs a new identity. So he starts saying, I'm learning to love in a healthy way. I am safe to connect. I am worthy of partnership. At first, it feels fake. The old voice protests. But with practice, with emotional sincerity, and with repetition, a new belief begins to take root. His brain starts noticing different things. Moments of connection, growth, vulnerability. He begins to behave differently. He starts choosing differently. Why? Because his identity changed, and his reality followed. This is not magic. It's biology. Your identity is not stored in stars. It's stored in your neural circuitry. And the most powerful tool you have to change that circuitry is the language you use daily, especially the language that follows I am. So if you've been saying, I'm stuck, I am anxious, I'm never going to change, then your brain, your nervous system, and your perception will start to match that identity. But if you start saying, even quietly, even imperfectly, I am in transition, I'm finding balance, I'm shifting into something new, then your brain will begin to build pathways toward that version of you. Not because you forced it, but because you fed it. Now, let's take a moment to do that together. Close your eyes if you can. Breathe slowly and speak these words, not as hope, but as intentional commands to your mind, your body, your life. I'm safe to change. I'm not who I was yesterday. I am creating new beliefs, and my brain is listening. I'm becoming the person I was always meant to be. I'm choosing my identity on purpose. These are not affirmations for fantasy. They're keys, unlocking doors that your old story kept closed. Every time you speak one, you tell your brain, there's a new trail to follow. And over time, that trail becomes a road. And that road becomes a life. And that life becomes a mirror of the identity you finally chose, not inherited, not imposed, but created. So the next time your mind whispers an old phrase like, I am broken, pause. Don't argue. Don't resist. Just choose again. Say instead, I am learning. I am growing. I am healing. And keep saying it until your mind believes it, your heart feels it, and your life reflects it. Because the truth is you're not fixed. You are fluid. You're always becoming. In the next chapter, we'll move from identity and thought into the energetic field that connects it all, exploring how your vibration, not just your words, shapes the reality around you. But for now, remember, your brain doesn't care what you say about yourself. It just believes you. So say something worth believing. Chapter 4, The Energy of Identity, Vibrational Alignment. You're not just a body. You're not just a brain. You are a field of energy. Alive, responsive, always broadcasting something. Every thought, every emotion, every I am you speak emits a frequency. And that frequency doesn't just stay inside of you. It moves outward. It touches the way you speak. It shapes the way you walk into a room. It even influences what shows up in your life. Because your vibration precedes your results. Here's a truth you've always felt, even if you couldn't explain it. Some people walk into the room and you feel calm. Others arrive and the atmosphere tightens. Some speak only a few words and something in you expands. Others say all the right things, but something feels off. That feeling, that unspoken knowing, is vibration. It's the silent language behind all words. An identity, more than anything else, sets the tone for your frequency. When you say, I am love, I am peace, I am grounded, those words carry an energy, one that your body feels, and the world around you responds to. Not because the universe is magical, but because it is mirrored. It reflects what you consistently vibrate, not what you occasionally wish for. Let's go deeper. You can say the words, I am abundant, 1,000 times. But if deep down you feel like you're lacking, if your vibration says, I don't trust, then the signal is scrambled. This is why alignment matters. Words without energy are hollow. But when words and vibration match, they become magnetic. So how do you raise your vibration to match your I am? It begins with embodiment. Not just saying, I am confident, but walking like it, breathing like it, making decisions from it, even if it feels awkward at first. Because remember, your energy doesn't shift through logic. It shifts through practice. Your emotions are your guidance system. They let you know whether your identity is aligned or off course. Tension, anxiety, hesitation, those are clues. They don't mean you're broken. They mean it's time to check the signal. Ask yourself, what am I believing about myself right now? Is this thought raising or lowering my frequency? Is this I am serving who I'm becoming or keeping me stuck in who I was? Every time you catch yourself slipping into an old vibration, fear, lack, shame, you're being given a gift, the chance to choose differently. That is mastery, not perfection, awareness. Let's practice that now with your body, your voice, your energy. Close your eyes, relax your shoulders, place your hand on your chest. Take a breath, slow and steady, and say, with full presence, I am stillness in motion. I am aligned with peace. I am the frequency of expansion. I am in harmony with the life I'm creating. Let those words ripple outward, from your chest to the space around you. Feel your energy soften. Feel it rise. This is coherence. This is alignment. This is the moment when I am becomes more than language. It becomes your vibrational signature. Science is beginning to confirm what ancient mystics have always known. Your heart has an electromagnetic field that extends several feet beyond your body. Your thoughts and emotions generate measurable frequency patterns, and those patterns interact with the environment, subtly influencing everything from the people you meet, to the ideas you attract, to the outcomes you experience. This is not about wishful thinking. This is about energetic responsibility. When you shift your inner identity, when you raise your internal frequency, the world cannot help but shift around you. Because reality is not happening to you, it is happening through you. So how do you sustain a high vibration? Not by being perfect, not by forcing joy, but by becoming honest with what you feel, with what you need, with who you truly are becoming, and then aligning your I am with that truth. Sometimes that sounds like, I am in process. I am learning to love myself. I am showing up even when it's hard. And sometimes it's a declaration that calls your highest self forward. I am clarity. I'm the one who leads. I am light in the middle of the storm. Let your identity rise to meet your vibration, and let your vibration rise to match your identity. This is not about faking anything. It's about feeling everything and choosing again and again to return to resonance. As we prepare to enter the next chapter, you'll begin to confront the internal voices that resist this alignment, the fears, the doubts, the not enoughs that still linger in the background. You'll learn how to move through them, not by fighting, but by transcending. But before we go there, anchor this in your being. You're not just a body, not just a mind. You are a vibration, and you have the power to tune yourself to truth, to peace, to purpose. Breathe that in. You're the frequency. You are the field. You are the I am. The universe feels before it ever hears you speak. Chapter 5, Breaking Limits, from Survival to Expansion. Every limit you've ever known began as a form of protection. Every fear, every hesitation, every belief that whispers, "You can't," was once your nervous system's way of saying, "Please stay safe." You didn't choose limitation out of weakness. You chose it out of survival. And that is something to honor. The walls you built weren't mistakes. They were shelter. The wall of silence, built after being misunderstood. The wall of overachievement, built after feeling invisible. The wall of independence, built after being let down too many times. At one point, those walls kept you standing. They gave you control in a world that felt unpredictable. They gave you strength when you didn't feel seen. But now, you're not surviving anymore. You're awakening. And those same walls, they're starting to feel heavy. Because what once protected you is now blocking you. Limiting beliefs are not random. They are often rooted in pain, not logic. I am not enough doesn't come from reason. It comes from early rejection. I am too much comes from being shamed for expressing. I am not lovable comes from love that was conditional, measured, withheld, weaponized. These I am statements didn't start with you. They were passed down through generations, cultures, wounds, and whispers. But just because you inherited something doesn't mean you have to keep it. This chapter is your permission slip to release the false identities, to let go of the inherited shame, to stop proving, hiding, apologizing, because you were never too much. You were never not enough. You were simply told that by people who hadn't met their own truth yet. And now, you get to choose a different voice. Let's pause here. Think of a belief that's been holding you back. A sentence you said so many times, it feels like fact. I'm always the one who gets hurt. I'm never the priority. I am not built for success. I'm unworthy of real love. Take a deep breath. And now, ask yourself gently, where did I learn this? Whose voice is this really? And what part of me is ready to let it go? You don't need to fight it. You don't need to erase the past. You just need to stop carrying the weight forward. Now, let's try something different. Let's speak a new identity, one that doesn't deny the pain, but transforms it. Repeat after me with feeling. I am no longer defined by my wounds. I am more than the patterns I inherited. I am choosing freedom over fear. I am safe to expand beyond what I've known. These are not just affirmations. They are declarations of energetic sovereignty. They say, I'm no longer living by default. I am creating by design. And as you grow, yes, the old voices may still show up. They'll whisper, you've tried before. What if it doesn't work? Who do you think you are? But now, you respond differently. Not with shame, not with resistance, but with truth. You say, I'm someone who keeps going. I'm someone who rises anyway. I'm someone who chooses herself every time. That is expansion, not perfection, not constant confidence, but the willingness to step beyond the limits of your old self, again and again, until the new one feels like home. Because here's what no one told you. Growth will often feel like loss, not because you're failing, but because you're shedding. You're saying goodbye to identities that no longer match your vibration. You're releasing habits that were rooted in survival. You're outgrowing the versions of you that played small just to feel safe. That discomfort, that stretch, it's not a warning. It's a signal. You're getting closer to your truth. Let this chapter be a turning point. Let it be the day you stop shrinking. The day you stop rehearsing your trauma as personality. The day you stop calling fear intuition. You are allowed to be bigger than your pain, brighter than your past, louder than your inner critic. And it starts by saying, I am not broken. I am breaking free. I'm not behind. I am blooming on time. I'm not too much. I am finally whole. I am not afraid to expand anymore. Say it again and again until it's louder than your fear, until it's truer than the lie. In the next and final chapter, we'll integrate everything we've unlocked so far. We'll anchor a new identity, a daily declaration, a ritual of I am, that you can return to any time you need to remember who you are. But for now, remember, your limits were learned, and what was learned can be unlearned. You're not stuck, you are shifting. And on the other side of resistance is the life you came here to live. Chapter 6, the declaration, I am, now and always. Take a breath, not just a breath of air, but a breath of arrival. You've walked far to be here, not just through this audiobook, but through every chapter of your life that led to this moment. You've remembered old voices. You've questioned the patterns you inherited. You've touched the code of your identity and rewritten the first line. I am. This is not the end. This is the beginning. But now you begin from truth. This chapter is not about learning something new. It's about remembering what's always been true. You were never the story. You were the storyteller. You were never the mask. You were the one beneath it. You were never just surviving. You were becoming. So now let's declare it. Not from the mind, from the soul. Not as a concept, but as a frequency. Let's move slowly. Let's move inward. Let's speak truth into your nervous system, into your cells, into your future. Part 1, anchoring the truth. Close your eyes, unless you're driving. Let the outside world blur. Let your attention return to the place that knows. Even when you forget, feel your feet. Feel the earth beneath you. Let hold you. You don't have to hold everything anymore. Let your breath be natural. Let it move without effort. You're not here to perform. You're here to return. Now, place one hand on your chest, the other on your belly, and repeat softly in your own time. I am here. I am enough. I am the beginning and the becoming. I am whole, even in the healing. I am safe to be me. Feel those words settle, not on the surface, but deep. Let them move through the layers, the doubt, the defenses, the waiting. Let them land, because these words are not decorations. They are roots, and they're growing stronger every time you speak them. Part 2, the I Am Sequence Guided Ritual. Now, let's begin the ritual. Each line is a key. Pause after each one. Let it echo inside. Let your body respond. Let your energy shift. Ready? I'm the stillness beneath the noise. I'm the love I used to beg for. I'm the answer I've been waiting for. I am the truth hidden beneath the fear. I am the presence that transforms the moment. Breath. I am allowed to shine. I am allowed to rise. I am allowed to rest. I am allowed to begin again. Breath. I am no longer performing for approval. I am no longer proving my worth. I am no longer hiding from my light. Breath. I am clarity. I am courage. I am consistency. I am compassion. Breath. I am walking in alignment. I am receiving what I used to chase. I am creating a life that mirrors my truth. Breath. I am. Just that. Fully. I am. Part 3, Future Self-Activation. Now allow yourself to imagine, not as fantasy, but as resonance. Let the mind soften. Let the vision rise. Imagine waking up as your most aligned self. You open your eyes, and there's no panic, no rushing to prove, no script to memorize. You are simply you, whole, steady, grounded. You walk into your day with clarity. Your decisions are not reactive. They are intentional. Your relationships feel safe because you feel safe in yourself. You look in the mirror, and there is no battle, only recognition, only peace. That version of you is not distant. That version of you is remembering itself through you right now. Let the image grow stronger. See how you walk. See how you speak. See how you give. See how you receive. That version of you speaks different IMS. And now you do too. Repeat with me, slowly, with emotion. I am the version of me I once prayed for. I'm living from presence, not pressure. I'm connected to my truth at all times. I'm no longer chasing. I am attracting. I am at home in my own energy. I'm now. I am always. Let's take one final breath together. In through the nose. Hold. Exhale slowly through the mouth. Feel what's here now. Not what you should feel, but what is. And let this final truth rise. From the deepest part of you, you are not waiting to become. You are remembering what you've always been. And from now on, every I am you speak will be sacred, will be chosen, will be true. Let this be your daily ritual. Come back to this practice whenever the world gets loud, whenever the mind forgets, whenever you feel distant from yourself. Speak slowly, speak clearly, speak with intention, because you are no longer speaking as a victim of your past. You are speaking as the author of your future. You are the I am, now and always. If this content resonated with your soul, share it with someone who needs to remember who they are. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because every single day, we create something new to feed your spirit and help you return home to your truth. Your evolution is not random. Your timing is not late. You're right on time, and your story is just beginning.